there must be a famine on somewhere, because we were just letting our midday meal go down when the vicar calls round with some envelopes, breezes in, and a rat running shoes. He says, "I always look forward in coming to this house, Mrs. Whittaker." He's got the idea she's deaf, which is one of the few things she isn't. He said, "Do you know why?" He said, "Because you two remind me of Jesus and his mother." Well, I've always thought Jesus was a bit offhand with his mother, and on one occasion I remember he was downright snotty with her, but I didn't say anything. And of course, Madam's over the moon. In her book, if you can't get compared to the Queen, then the Virgin Mary's the next best thing. She said, "Are you married?" Asks him every time, never remembers. He said, "No, Mrs. Whittaker, I am married to God." She said, "Where does that leave you with the housework?" He says, "Well, I don't do as well as your Graham. He's got this place like a palace." She said, "I do my whack. I washed 4 pairs of stockings this morning." She hadn't. She put them in the bowl, then they slipped her mind, so the rest of the operation devolved on me. He said, "How are you feeling today, Mrs. Whittaker?" She said, "Stiff down one side." I said, "She had a fall yesterday." She said, "I never did." I said, "You had a fall, then you ran into Mr. Turnbull." "That's right," she said, "I did," and starts rooting in her bag for a lipstick. She says, "That's one of them anoraki things, isn't it? If you want to look like a man about town, you want to get yourself a continental quilt." He said, "Oh." I said, "She means one of those quilted jackets." She says, "He knows what I mean." "And where did you get them shoes from?" He said, "They're training shoes." She said, "Training for what? Are you not fully qualified?" He said, "If Jesus were alive today, Mrs. Whittaker, those would be the type of shoes that he'd be wearing." She said, "Not if his mother had anything to do with it. She'd have him downstairs and Simpson, get him into a good pair of brogues." The vicar takes this as his cue to go on about people with no shoes at all, and via this to the famine in Ethiopia. I fork out a couple of quid which he says will feed a family of 6 for a week, and she says, "Well, it would have bought me some quality street." When I get to the door, he says, "I take my hat off to you, Graham. I've got a mother of my own." When I get back, she says, "Vicar, you look more like the paper boy. How can you look up to somebody in pumps?" Just then there's a knock at the door. "Get down," she says, "he's back." Only it isn't. It's Mr. Turnbull. New outfit this time. Corduroy coat, little suede collar, maroon trousers. She said, "You're colourful." He said, "We just happen to have these slacks on offer. I was wondering whether you fancied a run out to Bolton Abbey." She said, "Oh, Bolton Abbey. Oh, that's right up our street, isn't it, Graham? Graham's very good with buildings. He knows all the periods of houses. There's one period that's just come in. Only not a lot of people like it, but we do." "I don't know," I said. "You do? What is it?" "Victorian," I said. "That's right, Victorian, only there's a lot being pulled down." Mr. Turnbull yawns. "I've got a bungalow." "Oh," says Mother, "I like a nice bungalow, don't you, Graham?" "Yes," I said, "provided it's not a blot on the landscape." He says, "Mine's architect designed. It's got a patio and a breakfast bar, overlooks a beauty spot." "Ooh," says Mother, "sounds tip-top." "Well, we'd better be getting our skates on, Graham." Only, he says, "I've got to pick up a load of 3/4 length wind cheaters in Ilkley. There won't really be room for a third party. Isn't there anything on at the pictures?" "Oh, he'll be happy reading, won't you, Graham?" "Anyway," said Mr. Turnbull, "you don't always want to be with your mother at your age, do you?" I didn't say anything.